So this is a follow-up video to the Fiesta video that was done yesterday. Today we're going to look at advertisements featuring Fiesta by Homer Laughlin. We're going to start with this one from 1940, and it shows Fiesta Ensemble dinnerware. It's 109 pieces for $14.95. It has basic Fiesta pieces like the dinner plate, the 7-inch plate, teacup and saucer, and fruit cup. But it has added with it a Riviera platter, Riviera nappy, and Riviera sugar and creamer. And we have the glassware with Mexican pattern on it, the swivel sticks, the ashtrays, and this cutlery with Bakelite handles. And these were done in the late 1930s and early 1940s. You could do a payment plan. In this case, it was 50 cents a week with a total of $14.95 for 109 pieces. Came in the first, 4 glazes. Blue, green, red, and yellow, the blue being cobalt, and the green being light green. And after this had come out with Fiesta and these ensemble sets, other potteries started to make their own. This one uses Cronin Zephyr, and it's marketed as Luciente. You see the streamlined platter that often shows up with its little fan tab handles. We've got 4 colors again. Glassware with swivel sticks again, and the cutlery, but no ashtrays in this one. This particular set was let's see if we can get out of the glare, 95, 50 cents down, 50 cents a week. You could get the 102 piece set in this case was 40 pieces of dinnerware, 26 pieces of cutlery, and 36 pieces of glassware. And this one comes from Rhode Island. Our previous one, the one from Fiesta, is New York. So here we have Homer Laughlin's Fiesta, and then of course Cronin China's Zephyr, and ensemble ads. And that continues all the way into the 1940s. We have another one from 1942. Again, Cronin Zephyr dinnerware, but now we have 8 colors. We have a tan, a pink, a turquoise, and then there's another green. We have the glassware again, the cutlery, and $14.95 for a service for 8, 125 pieces. Again, this is a promotion that ran in New York. A lot of these you will see in old newspapers or old magazines, large size magazines, or inserts. The color ones are nice to find. Sometimes they're in black and white. Another one we have here is from 1942, and this one is called Hollywood Pastels by Edwin M. Knowles, which was in Newell, West Virginia. And we have the Deanna shape. We have a carafe with glassware and some more swivel sticks and some pastel Deanna shaped dinnerware by Knowles. And this was $10.98 for 102 pieces. So again, we see this whole Fiesta Ensemble inspired ad. Ludwig and Baumann, that was the same company that sold the Fiesta Ensemble sets. And you can also find decal sets in ensemble wear. Brittany decaled wear by Homer Laughlin was sold in ensemble sets sometimes. Hollywood Pastels again. This one's from 1947. Again, we have Deanna dinnerware and pastel glazes. Now we have a tablescape with the glassware and the cutlery again. Price goes up pretty high on this one. 109 pieces for $22.85. And you could do a payment plan, just like the others. This one, like the previous one, both say Knowles in their advertisement. That's the only ones that actually mention the pottery. All the other advertisements don't mention the pottery or the maker. And this is undated, but I assume it comes from the late 1940s as well. This is Hollywood Pastels Ensemble. And this is Paden City pottery. I believe it's Shenandoah Pastels. $22.88 for 105 pieces. Again, payment plans $3 down, $1 a week. This comes from, I'm trying to see what state this comes from. I'm not sure. Let's see what's on the back. Oh, that's not going to help us. But there's no date, but again, I think this is 1947, 48, just by the pricing. So we see all these ensemble ads that are inspired by the Fiesta version. I'll put the Fiesta version out again. Let's see. So we have 109 pieces for $14.95. There was a smaller one. I've got it in a frame and I don't want to take it out, but it's a smaller set. So it's marketed as a luncheon set. It's 57 pieces for $7.95. And again, we see Riviera pieces. We've got the platter and the sugar and creamer and the nappy. The rest of it's Fiesta shape. The glassware again, the ashtrays again, and the cutlery. This was E.W. Edwards of Buffalo, New York. So that's just a look at some Fiesta Ensemble ads and competitors from the late 30s and 40s. Here is a page from a trade journal. Let's see the date. February 1936. So this is a month after Fiesta was released in Pittsburgh. In fact, it mentions that. It says, Pottery and Glass Show in Pittsburgh last month. One word was on everybody's lips. It was Fiesta. So this is the first advertisement that was run featuring Fiesta. And it mentions the Pittsburgh show. And it also mentions the 5 glazes. Green, which is light green, yellow, blue, which is dark blue, old ivory, and red. This is another trade advertisement. Let's see what the date on this one. July 36. This is the first year Fiesta was released. And it shows the 4 colors in mixed with decaled ware. This is the Nautilus shape by Homer Laughlin. We've got the yellow with the shaggy flower, and then the green with these tulips, red with this deco leaf, and blue with the flower basket. And there are other harmony sets you can find, or ensemble sets sometimes they were called, where they mix Mexicana with blue stripe with cobalt, or Mexicana with red stripe with Fiesta red, or other patterns. It's not just these 4, but these are the 4 popular ones. And it was 5-star Fiesta Ensemble, a composition of 76-piece harmony set. So you could get some pieces in Nautilus shape with the decals, and you could get corresponding solid color Fiesta to go with it. This was somewhat ahead of its time, I think. We really don't see the mixture of decalware and solid colors until we get to something like, well, Duraprint, which is actually not decalware, but we see patterns and solid colors come together in Duraprint with the Charmhouse Hollowware. I would imagine that this was not a big seller, since we don't see a whole lot of these decaled pieces. But that's the harmony set from 1936, the summer of 1936. Next, we have a page from a Larkin catalog from 1940, and it's showing how you could either pay cash or redeem coupons to get a set of Fiesta. This also has the drip cut server. This is the Fiesta syrup. The Fiesta syrup was never on any price list. They were made and sold directly to Drip Cut, who then would distribute them however they saw fit. And then there's the juice set for $1. Another catalog page. We have a Fiesta being sold as a breakfast or luncheon set, and then you have this 7-piece added service set. It was for $3.25. You could get everything here: chop plate, disc pitcher, sugar and creamer, utility tray, and nappy. At the bottom there's an interesting piece. This is a relish tray, but it's not Fiesta. It's made in Japan. And I believe the marking on these is like a maple leaf. But the base is in red, and then you've got these different colored inserts. It's very similar to Fiesta. It's almost identical in size. But if you ever find one, it'll have like a maple leaf marking on it. But here is an import, a copy sold directly with Fiesta. And we see again the breakfast set, and we see the service set. This is let me see if it's dated. Oh, I don't have a date on this. Yeah, I do. 1941. So we have our basic service of Fiesta, and we've got that the service set of the same pieces we saw in the previous advertisement here. That's $3.50. The juice set is 90 cents. The Kitchen Craft casserole and pie plate together is 90 cents. And then we see the unlisted salad bowl, which was a promotional piece not on the price list. That's why it's called an unlisted salad bowl, with the spoon and fork for 90 cents. There's also serenades on here. Serenade was introduced in 1939. It was discontinued in 1942. Not a great seller for Homer Laughlin. That was in pastel glazes. There's the Fiesta refrigerator stack set, 90 cents. And this line, this Caliente, is Paden City, solid color dinnerware. And we have a Firestone merchandise catalog, fall and winter. I'm not sure what year this is. Let's look at the back. Well, it has to be early 40s. We have a Fiesta juice set for $1.25. And Riviera dinnerware, $3.95 for a 20-piece set and $5.95 for a 25-piece set. It says go to pages 4 and 5. So let's go to 4 and 5. Here we go. There's several Homer Laughlin lines here. We've got this Rose Leaf on Georgian Eggshell, Cherry Blossom on Nautilus Eggshell, and Old Fashioned Garden on Marigold. There's Riviera again. You could buy the 25-piece set or the 20-piece set, the juice set, for $1.25. Kitchen Craft nested bowls, and then the Kitchen Craft pie plate and casserole, $1.49. So anybody could sell Fiesta. Anybody. This was not an exclusive. This was for the general trade. Anybody could sell it however they wanted. This is Butler Brothers, summer 1938, and they're using pictures from the little brochures, and they were selling it by the dozen or by piece. This is from a wholesale catalog. And so we see some of the more popular and familiar pieces from Fiesta from 1938. Down at the bottom we have some Knowles. If anybody's interested in Knowles, that's plaid. That's a Yorktown shape, and this is the Hostess shape. Butler Brothers carried Fiesta for several years. This I want to be careful with because it's starting to rip. This is a Royal Chrome brochure from Royal Metal of Chicago, and this is 1937. And we see some pieces of Fiesta. We see the nappies being sold as open casseroles in these metal holders that were chrome plated. There's our little promotional casserole that was not on any Fiesta price list. It's not even marked, but it was sold mainly with Royal Chrome with either this holder or this full round holder. And then we have the platter and pie plate, Kitchen Craft pie plate, and the platter for Royal Chrome or Royal Metal. Here's some decalware. We've got the mixing bowl type casserole, and this casserole is commonly called the straight-sided casserole. And Fiesta pottery in metal holders. So there's the cream soup cup. We have a salad set with nappy and 7-inch plates. The promotional casserole, again, the marmalade, the mustard, salt and peppers. And then the Fiesta cake plate, which is one of the rarest pieces of Fiesta. It's completely flat with rings. It's being sold with an oven-served cake lifter. And sometimes you can find these pieces with Royal Metal stickers on them, or Royal Chrome stickers. And I wanted to show this because it's more of Homer Laughlin wares in metal holders. We have and this is Kitchen Craft, which we'll get to in a video later. We have the platter, the pie plate, well, two sizes of pie plates, and the casserole in this metal frame. Another advertisement with drip cut servers. I mentioned drip cut a moment ago that Homer Laughlin made syrups for them, both Fiesta and Harlequin. The Harlequin ones went in Woolworth stores, but the Fiesta ones, drip cut was responsible for selling those. They were sold directly to drip cut, and then they could market them however they saw fit, and we see some glass versions with Bakelite handles, and then another glass version, and this is the Fiesta version. So the body is based on a style that drip cut already had. So it's not like Frederick Reed did anything special with this particular shape. He just copied the style that was given to him as a sample, and it was dipped in Fiesta glazes, the first 6 colors. It's a photograph of a store display with these cardboard cutouts. They're pretty desirable if you can ever find them. This is probably from the 37, 38 or so. We don't see the oval platter in here or the sauce boat. So this is probably a little bit before 38. This advertisement I like because it shows Fiesta and Luray pastels side by side. We have Fiesta up top and Luray pastels in the bottom. And you could get this service set, the coffee pot, the chop light nappy, sugar, creamer, salt and pepper shakers for $7.50. The juice set's now $1.95, so we must be getting into the into the 1940s, since price is increasing. A lot of these juice sets were around $1, so we're almost twice the price now. And at the bottom there's some Luray pastels. It's oddly enough, it's pink and blue. It goes against this whole idea of rainbow sets. I mean, that was the whole idea with not only Fiesta but Luray pastels. You buy the rainbow sets and then you get accessory pieces. But this only shows blue and pink. It only has blue and pink in the listing. This is a copy of a photograph of a store display in Bloomingdale's, New York, when Fiesta was introduced. We've got 5 tables with the 5 colors. I'd love to know what happened to these huge display plates, but that's just a store display from New York. This is 1938 advertisement. Somebody took the time to laminate this. I wish they hadn't, but I guess it protects it. And we see Fiesta in the first 6 colors being sold by the dozen or each. I assume this comes from a Butler Brothers catalog by the way it's sold. This is something that Butler Brothers would have done. But it has nice kitchen craft at the bottom, which is a corresponding line of kitchenware. The pie plate, the shakers, the casseroles, the nested bowls, or the mixing bowls, and the refrigerator stack unit. Sold as the dozen for $9. We see the sticky handle creamer in this, even though it would have been discontinued probably in 1938 by this time, or been replaced by the ring handle. So this is probably right at the cusp, the end of the sticky handle creamer. And we have this advertisement. I'm looking at the colors real quick to see if Fiesta Red's mentioned, because I'm thinking this is probably, I don't have a date on this, 1944, yeah, so Fiesta Red's gone in this advertisement. So you only have 5 colors. We have the basic service set down here, which, again, that was the idea. You buy this set and then you can buy accessory pieces. You have services for 4, 6, 8, and 12 that you could get. And then you could get this group of service set for $5, or you could get the juice set for $1.25. I've seen color versions of this, and I assume that's probably why we have a black and white version. After red was discontinued, they had to move it to black and white, since red was no longer offered. This I thought you might want to see. It's a print. I'm sure there were many of these made from a photograph showing Fiestaware, but it's the same one that was used to create the 1950s brochure. Even has the same type of shadowing on it. But the 1950, this has the 1950s colors, chartreuse, dark green, gray, rose, yellow, and turquoise. So now we're up to the 1950s, well, late 40s, 1950s, because this is blue, yellow, turquoise, and ivory. We're not at the 50 colors quite yet with these advertisements. We're getting there, though, because now we have Jubilee. This would be about 1948 or so. We've got some eggshell lines at the bottom. And on the back, Skytone, more Nautilus eggshell and Georgian eggshell lines. Not sure what year this is, but it has to be very late 1940s or 1950s, since we have Jubilee and Fiesta together in the same advertisement. Jubilee was a line of pastel dinnerware designed by Don Schreckengoss, the first line he made at Homer Laughlin. We'll get to that much later. We have Fiesta at the bottom of this advertisement, and it's in chartreuse, forest green, yellow, and turquoise, and rose. And so again, you should get the 24-piece set for $12.60. You can get completer items for $8.10. You get the salt shaker, pepper shaker, covered sugar bowl, creamer, nappy, chop plate, and coffee pot for $8.10. This is not Homer Laughlin, but the rest of them are. That's a Duraprint pattern. This is what I was mentioning earlier, this combination of printed wear mixed with solid colored hollow wear. We have Highland Plaid here with Charmhouse hollow wear. And then we've got the shapes Liberty, Rhythm, Brittany, Rhythm, and Liberty. So this is from 1954. I think this is a little interesting because I always felt that the 50s colors, which are rose, gray, chartreuse, and dark green, were made to go with turquoise and yellow, and that if you have the 50s colors, you should display them with turquoise and yellow. But here we see no turquoise and yellow at all in this particular advertisement. It's just the 4 50s colors together in the set, and then you get the completer set for $8. Desert Lily was on rhythm with Chartreuse Charm House Hollowware, and let's see, Highland Plaid, another Duraprint pattern by Homer Laughlin, and Greenbrier, that would have been by Payton City. So in 1959, the 50s colors are gone, and Fiesta is rebranded with 4 new colors, or 4 colors: red, yellow, turquoise, and green, which is medium green. This is a copy of a slick that would have been used in a newspaper announcing that Fiesta Red is back. And we have another one here, or we have 2 of them copied on the same page. Famous Fiesta Festival, 16-piece starter set for $7.95. These are your 4 colors from the 60s: turquoise, yellow, green, medium green, of course, and Fiesta Red. Or you could get a 45 service for 45 pieces for $24.95. But Fiesta was dwindling by this point. So medium green pieces are rare in comparison. And I thought I'd put this one out. This is 1969. This shows Fiesta Ironstone, Antique Gold, Mango Red. This is just Fiesta Red called Mango Red, and Turf Green. And we see restyled pieces that were used in Sheffield Amberstone. Again, we'll get to all this later when we get to the 70s. On the reverse, we have the assortment with pricing. Yeah, this is July 1st, 1969. We go to the bottom, it's interesting to note that the larger pieces like the casserole, teapot, disc pitcher, coffee pot, and large salad bowl, which was not in the standard line, are only made in antique gold, not available in turf green or mango red. But you can find coffee pots in turf green. They're pretty rare, but they're out there. And one last thing to show. This is from 1985, so this is right before the reintroduction of Fiesta. This is an insert that was in the Evening Review. This is March 16th, 1985. And it's a little bit about Homer Laughlin and the people at Homer Laughlin and the exhibit that was in Charleston, West Virginia. Part of the exhibit featured a display of Homer Laughlin wares called the Great Wall of China. In particular is this photograph here. This is Frederick Reed and Albert Bleninger. And I talked a little bit about Dr. Bleninger in video number 8 on glazes, so you can check that out. The caption reads, "Talents gave the firm much of its success. Where Frederick Reed left, who headed the new Department of Art and Design from 1927 to his death in 1942, and Albert Bleninger, a ceramics engineer who installed tunnel kilns and perfected new glazes. He headed the new research department from 1920 until his death in 1946. They were photographed while examining a platter of the Fiesta pattern." So 2 men responsible for Fiesta, the shape and the glazes, right there in one picture. I wanted to show that. So that's going to be it for now. We'll continue on next time with some more dinnerware shapes from Frederick Reed. There's 14 more to go before we get to the 50s. So that's all for today.